Hello and welcome to day 25 of the Not Alone Today Chronological Bible Reading Plan with Joseph and Anu. Today we'll be reading Exodus chapters 24 to 27.
Chapter 24. Then he said to Moses, "Come up to the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and the 70 of the elders in Israel, and worship at a distance. Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but the others shall not come near, and the people shall not come up with him."
Moses went and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the ordinances. And all the people answered with one voice and said, "All the words that the Lord has spoken we will do." And Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord. He rose early in the morning, built an altar at the foot of the mountain, and set up 12 pillars, corresponding to the 12 tribes of Israel. He sent young men of the Israelites who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed oxen as offerings of well-being to the Lord. Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he dashed against the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. And they said, "All that the Lord has spoken we will do, and we will be obedient." Moses took the blood and dashed it on the people and said, "Here is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you in accordance with all these words."
Then Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and the 70 of the elders in Israel went up, and they saw the God of Israel. Under his feet there was something like a pavement of sapphire stone, like the very heaven for clearness. God did not lay his hand on the chief men of the Israelites. They beheld God, and they ate and drank.
The Lord said to Moses, "Come up to me on the mountain and wait there. I will give you the tablets of stone with the law and the commandments, which I have written for their instruction." So Moses set out with his assistant Joshua, and Moses went up onto the mountain of God. To the elders he had said, "Wait here for us until we come back to you. Look, Aaron and Hur are with you. Whoever has a dispute may go to them."
Then Moses went up on the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain. The glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. On the 7th day, he called to Moses out of the cloud. Now the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like a devouring fire on top of the mountain in the sight of the Israelites. Moses entered the cloud and went up on the mountain. Moses was on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights.
Chapter 25. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites to take for me an offering. From all whose hands prompt them to give, you shall receive the offering for me. This is the offering that you shall receive from them: gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, and crimson yarns and fine linen, goat's hair, tanned ram skins, fine leather, acacia wood, oil for the lamps, spices for the anointing oil and for fragrant incense, onyx stones and gems to be set in the ephod for the breastpiece. And they shall make me a sanctuary so that I may dwell among them, in accordance with all that I show you concerning the pattern of the tabernacle and of all its furniture, so you shall make it."
They shall make an ark of acacia wood. It shall be 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. You shall overlay it with pure gold. Inside and outside you shall overlay it, and you shall make a molding of the gold upon it all around. You shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them on its 4 feet, 2 rings on one side of it, and 2 rings on the other side. You shall make poles of acacia woods, and overlay them with gold. You shall put the poles in the rings on the sides of the ark, for carrying the ark. The poles shall remain in the rings of the ark, they shall not be removed. You shall put the covenant I am giving you into the ark.
Then you shall make a cover of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be its length, and a cubit and a half its width. You shall make 2 cherubim of gold. You shall make them of hammered work at the 2 ends of the cover. Make 1 cherub at one end, and 1 cherub at the other. Of one piece with the cover you shall make the cherubim at its 2 ends. The cherubim shall spread out their wings above, overshadowing the cover with their wings. They shall face one to another. The faces of the cherubim shall be turned towards the cover. You shall put the cover on the top of the ark, and in the ark you shall put the covenant that I am giving you. There I will meet with you, and from above the cover, from between the 2 cherubim that are on the ark of the covenant, I will tell you all that I am commanding you for the Israelites.
You shall make a table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, 1 cubit wide, and a cubit and a half high. You shall overlay it with pure gold, and make a molding of gold around it. You shall make around it a rim a handbreadth wide, and a molding of gold around the rim. You shall make for it 4 rings of gold, and fasten the rings to the 4 corners at its 4 legs. The rings that hold the poles used for carrying the table shall be close to the rim. You shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, and the table shall be carried with this. You shall make its plates and dishes, and its flagons and bowls with which to pour drink offerings. You shall make them of pure gold. And you shall set the bread of the presence of the table before me continually.
You shall make a lampstand of pure gold. The base and the shaft of the lampstand shall be made of hammered work. Its cups, its calyxes, and its petals shall be of one piece with it. And there shall be 6 branches going out of its sides, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side of it, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side of it. 3 cups shaped like almond blossoms, each with calyx and petals on one branch, and 3 cups shaped like almond blossoms, each with calyx and petals on the other branch. So for the 6 branches going out of the lampstand, on the lampstand itself there shall be 4 cups shaped like almond blossoms, each with its calyxes and petals. There shall be a calyx of one piece with it under the first pair of branches, a calyx of one piece with it under the next pair of branches, and a calyx of one piece with it under the last pair of branches. So for the 6 branches that go out of the lampstand, so for the 6 branches that go out of the lampstand. Their calyxes and their branches shall be of one piece with it, the whole of it one armored piece of pure gold. You shall make 7 lamps for it, and the lamps shall be set up so as to give light on the space in front of it. Its snuffers and trays shall be of pure gold. It and all these utensils shall be made from a talent of pure gold, and see that you make them according to the pattern for them, which is being shown you on the mountain.
Chapter 26. The tabernacle itself you shall make with 10 curtains of fine twisted linen and blue, purple, and crimson yarns. You shall make them with cherubim skillfully worked into them. The length of each curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits. All the curtains shall be of the same size. 5 curtains shall be joined to one another, and the other 5 curtains shall be joined to one another. You shall make loops of blue on the edge of the outermost curtain in the first set, and likewise you shall make loops on the edge of the outermost curtain in the second set. You shall make 50 loops on the one curtain, and you shall make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is in the second set. The loops shall be opposite one another. You shall make 50 clasps of gold and join the curtains to one another with the clasps, so that the tabernacle may be one whole.
You shall also make curtains of goat's hair for a tent over the tabernacle. You shall make 11 curtains. The length of each curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits. The 11 curtains shall be of the same size. You shall join 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves. And the 6th curtain you shall double over at the front of the tent. You shall make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is outermost in one set, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is outermost in the second set.
You shall make 50 clasps of bronze, and put the clasps into the loops, and join the tent together, so that it may be one whole. The part that remains of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remains, shall hang over the back of the tabernacle. The cubit on one side and the cubit on the other side of what remains in the length of the curtains of the tent shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle, on this side and that side, to cover it. You shall make for a tent a covering of tanned ram skins, and the outer covering of fine leather.
You shall make upright frames of acacia wood for the tabernacle. 10 cubits shall be the length of a frame, and a cubit and a half with the width of each frame. There shall be 2 pegs in each frame to fit the frames together. You shall make these for all the frames of the tabernacle. You shall make the frames for the tabernacle 20 frames for the south side, and you shall make 40 bases of silver under the 20 frames, 2 bases under the first frame for its 2 pegs, and 2 bases under the next frame for its 2 pegs. And for the second side of the tabernacle, on the north side, 20 frames, and there are 40 bases of silver, 2 bases under the first frame and 2 bases under the next frame. And for the rear of the tabernacle westward, you shall make 6 frames. You shall make 2 frames for corners of the tabernacle in the rear. They shall be separate beneath, but joined at the top at the first ring. It shall be the same with both of them. They shall form 2 corners, and so shall there be 8 frames with their bases of silver, 16 bases, 2 bases under the first frame and 2 bases under the next frame.
You shall make bars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames of one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frames of the side of the tabernacle at the rear westward. The middle bar halfway up the frames shall pass through end and end. You shall overlay the frames with gold, and shall make the rings of gold to hold the bars, and you shall overlay the bars with gold. Then you shall erect the tabernacle according to the plan that you were showing it on the mountain.
You shall make a curtain of blue, purple, and crimson yarns and twisted linen. It shall be made with cherubim skillfully worked into it. You shall hang it on 4 pillars of acacia, overlaid with gold, which have hooks of gold, and rest on 4 bases of silver.
You shall hang the curtain under the clasps, and bring the ark of the covenant in there, within the curtain. And the curtain shall separate for you the holy place from the most holy place. You shall put the cover on the ark of the covenant in the most holy place. You shall set the table outside the curtain, and the lampstand on the south side of the tabernacle, opposite the table, and you shall put the table on the north side.
You shall make a screen for the entrance of the tent, of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and of fine twisted linen, embroidered with needlework. You shall make for the screen 5 pillars of acacia, and overlay them with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, and you shall cast 5 bases of bronze for them.
Chapter 27. You shall make the altar of acacia wood 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. The altar shall be square, and it shall be 3 cubits high. You shall make horns for it on its 4 corners. Its horns shall be of one piece with it, and you shall overlay it with bronze. You shall make pots for its ashes, and shovels, and basins, and forks, and fire pans. You shall make all its utensils of bronze. You shall also make for it a grating, a network of bronze, and the net you shall make 4 bronze rings at its 4 corners. You shall set it under the ledge of the altar, so that the net shall extend halfway down the altar. You shall make poles for the altar, poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with bronze. The poles shall be put through the rings, so that the poles shall be on the 2 sides of the altar when it is carried. You shall make it hollow with boards. They shall be made just as you were shown on the mountain.
You shall make the court of the tabernacle. On the south side of the court shall have hangings of fine twisted linen, 100 cubits long for that side. Its 20 pillars and their 20 bases shall be of bronze, but the hooks of the pillars and their bands shall be of silver. Likewise for its length on the north side there shall be hangings 100 cubits long, their pillars 20 and their bases 20, of bronze. But the hooks of the pillars and their bands shall be of silver. For the width of the court on the west side, there shall be 50 cubits of hangings, with 10 pillars and 10 bases. The width of the court on the front to the east shall be 50 cubits. There shall be 15 cubits of hangings on one side, with 3 pillars and 3 bases. There shall be 15 cubits of hangings on the other side, with 3 pillars and 3 bases. For the gates of the court there shall be a screen 20 cubits long, of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and of fine twisted linen, embroidered with needlework. It shall have 4 pillars, and with them 4 bases. All the pillars around the court shall be banded with silver. Their hooks shall be of silver, and their bases of bronze. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, the width 50, and the height 5 cubits, with hangings of fine twisted linen and bases of bronze. All the utensils of the tabernacle for every use, and all its pegs and all the pegs of the court shall be of bronze.
You shall further command the Israelites to bring you pure oil of beaten olives for the light, so that the lamp may be set up to burn continually. In the tent of meeting, outside the curtain that is before the covenant, Aaron and his sons shall tend it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a perpetual ordinance to be observed throughout their generations by the Israelites. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Quite detailed read, isn't it?
It is. It's like reading an architectural blueprint with all the dimensions, and sometimes you just get lost in the cubits and heights and descriptions, and you're wondering, okay, I get it.
When I do my Bible, then my yearly Bible reading, I get to this point.
Yeah.
I itch to be able to draw it so I can see it play out, like the curtains being joined from one side to the other. Like one time I was reading Revelations and we were talking about the lampstand, and I saw myself drawing it, but I'm not so artistic, so it was quite confusing even to me.
Indeed.
But it's really good to be able to see this at play, and I'm sure there would be resources out there.
With AI image generation tools nowadays, I'm sure someone would have experimented with feeding these instructions into, be it Nano Banana on Gemini, and see what it spews out for you. And that will also be interesting to do actually with the book of Revelation, with all those characters.
All those characters, it's quite
now you can
fearful.
literally give the description as it is portrayed and see what images these various artificial intelligences throw back at you.
Okay.
In terms of a quick recap, so we covered 4 chapters. Chapter 24 began with that covenant, the sin of the blood covenant that God had with the people, with the leaders on the mountain with God. And then from chapter 25, we began to see offerings for the tabernacle when people were asked to bring offerings, then details about the Ark of the Covenant, then details about the table for the bread of the presence, or the table of the showbread, as some versions would put it, and details about the lampstand, then details in chapter 26 about the tabernacle itself and the framework for the tabernacle so that it can be mobile. And then details about the curtains and the altar of the burnt offering. That's in chapter 27. We also saw details about the curtains and the hangings. And then finally about the oil for the lamp. Covers what we've read in those 4 chapters.
Yes. And then in chapter 24, what stood out to me is in verse 11, where it reads, God did not lay his hand on the chief men of the Israelites. They beheld God, and they ate and drank. And I found that to be quite interesting. Like beholding God and eating and drinking.
Rather than abstaining from
food. This time they celebrated, so to say, the beholding of their God. And it's quite instructive to say that in his presence there's fullness of joy.
Indeed.
Yes.
For me, I see the picture of the communion there as well. Even beginning from when it was described how Moses kept, dashing the blood on the people, dashing the blood on the materials and all that, because all that God wants to see in that sense is the blood. And then it ends in verse 8 by saying, here is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you in accordance with all these words. But we know that when Jesus is going to institute the Lord's Supper, the Holy Communion as we call it, he also used similar words to say, this now is the blood of the covenant. Drink this in remembrance of me. So it's to me a picture of the eating and the drinking in that sense then becomes symbolic for us now in the holy act of the sacrament of communion, the Lord's Supper.
Yes. Another part that stood out to me is verse 13, when Joshua was called the assistant of Moses. We know that it was mentioned in chapter 17. Earlier when he went to fight with the Amaleks. But I didn't know that he was an assistant. I just thought he was like a soldier, like a military person that fought. So it's really good to see that him being called the assistant caller, does that mean he would have been with Moses throughout all these happenings? But just wasn't mentioned?
No, there are specific instances, even what we read in 24, when after the elders and the leaders had eaten and drank, God specifically asked Moses and Moses alone to come with him. And then eventually, as we go on in the story, there will be a point where we would hear that instruction of Joshua remaining, like Moses asking him to remain in the presence of the Lord, as though now is your own time to start having an experience of what I experienced, sort of. So there is a budding mentorship already kind of going on. But that's so far, so good. It seemed like anytime God is directly making a communication, it is almost always exclusively to Moses and not to Moses and Joshua.
Okay.
Chapter 25, the major thing that stood out to me is the willingness in giving. God asks the people to give, and then we begin to say, oh, okay, this is why he has asked them to get things from the Egyptians, because if they are going into the wilderness and they're going to be there for so long, of course, maybe it wasn't God's plan necessarily for them to be there for that long. We know that it's a 40-day journey that became a 40-year journey. But even at that, all the wealth with which they left Egypt was not an end in itself. It was because God knows He's going to need those things He has favored them with to be able to build something that can become an avenue to encounter God and worship God, and host His presence, if you will. And yet God insisted that it has to be done willingly. Verse 20, chapter 25, verse 2, it says, from all whose hearts prompt them to give, you shall receive the offering. It's not by force. And of course, we know that people responded generously, because it got to a point as we go on that we will see Moses begging them to stop bringing things because they have more than enough to do what they wanted to do. So yeah, I found that really Interesting.
What I found really interesting is God's specific use of pure gold for the covering and the overlay. He likes good things. It is good. So it's good. It's so nice to see him wanting what he wants and specifying it.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting to say. And the fact that even the plates and the cups that will be used for drink offerings should be made of pure gold. It's not just gold, like pure gold. Yes.
Indeed. And the specifications, the specificity of the details, and that recurrent instruction to Moses to build according to the pattern. So God has given all these very detailed instructions to Moses as a pattern, and is meant to build according to those patterns, which kind of alludes to the fact that it's not so much, again, this is one of those foreshadowings of things to come. The temple, the tabernacle in and of itself is not the end, but the necessity for Moses to build it according to pattern means that if one will take the time to actually investigate all these symbols deeply and in the full scope of scripture, you begin to see how they point to Christ, how they point to the ongoing experience of new covenant believers, namely that now God resides with us and within us and in us. Because that's the whole point of a tabernacle. You want God to dwell with you, but now he's dwelling in us. And what should that then mean for us in terms of things like all these daily sacrifices, the oil always being there so that the light never goes off on the altar, and things like that. They have applications basically for us even today, even if we could easily get lost in all the details of these dimensions and materials and specificities.
True. And the fact that we can sit here and talk about it is because Moses wrote them down. So verse 24, verse 4, Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord. And it portrays the importance of journaling. Sometimes God would say certain things to us and we'll just take it like, okay. But it's important to write it down. Moses didn't just say, oh yeah, I know everything, I'm powerful. I know if I would mentally recall everything he said. But he chose to write it down. And because he wrote it down, we can rely on the account that has been put to us.
That's right.
So to everyone and myself, let's continue journaling. It is important. It might seem mundane, but there's importance in it because it's a way for us. It's like our own book of remembrance, isn't it?
Indeed.
Where we can say, Shabi, you said. But if you just heard it and you just moved on, then years later you would recall something was said, but not exactly what. So I just thought to say that.
So in taking it all together holistically from 24 to 27, and I mean we're still going to continue in 28 and start seeing more details about the garments that the priests would wear. I just keep seeing that recurrent, or I keep asking myself, so what does this mean for me as the tabernacle of God? I am the tabernacle of God now. I am the dwelling of God now. And I'm as mobile a tabernacle as that one was supposed to be. Because again, that's part of the thing that bugs my mind. That something so huge should still be constructed in a way that it can be carried from one place to the other because they are on the move. And I am on the move. I am the tabernacle of God. What should I get from this? And I think part of the answer to that the Holy Spirit has given to me is at the end of 27, the oil for the lamp, that it must not go out morning and evening. And I take that to mean, that intentional communion with God, servicing, as it were, that relationship with constant praying and engagement with His Word. So, any concluding thoughts from you?
Just writing down what you just said. Very, very instructive.
Thank you. So thanks everyone for joining us for day 25 as we've explored these blueprints for worship. And when we come On day 26, we'll be looking at the priests and the holy garments and all of the different specificities for that as well. But till then, just remember,
You're not
you're not
alone
alone
today.
today. God bless you.
Bye for now.